welcome to NEGU TV. My name is Erik Reese, and I get the honor of being that little pretty girl's daddy. Today on our episode, we are chatting with one of the most inspiring, courageous, brave, strong families that I've had the honor of meeting, the Della Torre family. Welcome to NEGU TV.
Thank you so much.
So for the listeners that are watching this, I obviously know a lot about your story and about your courageous son, who I used to call a NEGU kid, and to me, he's now more like a NEGU warrior. Share a little bit about who your son is, age, name, diagnosis, a little bit of his journey, so people can have a snapshot of the unfortunate realities that families have to go through when they hear the words your child has cancer.
Go ahead. So our son is Anthony Jose Della Torre, but most people know him as AJ for short. He was initially diagnosed December of 2017, just 8 days shy of his 10th birthday, with a brain tumor called medulloblastoma. And so he went through a year of treatment. He had brain surgery, then 30 sessions of radiation, 9 cycles of chemo over the course of the year. And that alone was brutal. Luckily, the tumor gone, and we got to hear those words, no evidence of disease. He finished his treatment February of 2019 and was then deemed to be fully in remission. And we got a sense of some normalcy back in our lives. And then this year in May, we got the news that he had relapsed. This time around, he had 1 brain tumor and then 3 along his spinal cord. So with relapse and fighting 4 tumors, he went through extensive treatment the last couple of months. He just finished the majority of the treatment. And as of his last MRI, we were told there's, again, no evidence of disease. So this time around, he went through brain surgery again. He got chemo. And then the very last portion of it, he got hit with high-dose chemo to try to get rid of the very last tumor that was just hanging on, and then had to get rescued with his own stem cells. So basically, after his second cycle, they removed his stem cells, froze them. He went through high-dose chemo. He got them back in October. So we were hospitalized for a month.
Wow. And
we got to come home finally after a month of being there. And now he's in what's called maintenance chemo. So unfortunately, we know with brain tumors, brain cancer, it's the deadliest of childhood cancers, and they're aggressive. So he has to do 1 year of maintenance chemo, which will be at a slightly lower dose to prevent it from coming back. So that's basically where we're at now. He barely started that a year ago. And just yesterday, we celebrated his 13th birthday.
Wow, wow, wow. What a brave, brave warrior he is. I obviously have had the honor of meeting him, and he is a gentle giant in my mind, with his strength and his just overall willingness to fight and stuff. He has been through things that no child, no person should have to go through. And I'm just honored to know you guys and be part of your encouragement and prayer team. How has, or even if it has had any impact, how has COVID impacted you guys during this most recent one? Because I think you said he started the second kind of series back in May, so that was right when COVID was, cranking up, right. And yeah. And then how was it like going into the hospital? Because were you guys allowed to go together?
No. So, we're used to doing everything as a team, and, Carolina's an RN, so I've always felt comfortable. She handles all the medical. She's more organized. I'm more like a workhorse. tell me what to do, I'm going to do it. I'll drive, I won't sleep. I've still gone to work through all of this, and I work nights. So I just wanted to be there as their support, whatever AJ needed, whatever Carolina needed. So the first go around, we were always there together in the room. My dad would help driving us to appointments and stuff. Well, this time, all that was taken away. And, you know, I understand the reasoning behind it, but for me, I was kind of just there. I would drive to the hospital and do the majority of this over the last 6-7 months in my car or in the cafeteria of the hospital. If she was in the room, I couldn't be there, and vice versa. And Carolina, on the flip side, had to endure the hardest moments alone with AJ. And a lot of this, you know, you need both parents there. And yeah, you can do it, but, you know, you don't want to leave the child alone. I don't care if the child is a baby or a teenager. Nobody fighting cancer should ever be alone. And that's for adults as well. It just breaks you down so much. And the people that are supporting the patient, they're tired and worn down too. And so it was a challenge, to say the least. And it was hard, you know, but the overall goal was to get AJ through it.
Yep.
So whatever the obstacles were, we've always had the mindset. You know, she's been very vocal to the hospital, writing letters after letters. And we've informed other parents, but whatever the obstacles have been, we've tried to just fight through it, get past it, and keep moving forward.
It's the NEGU motto.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, you guys are definitely not giving up on that, man. Yeah, sometimes the red tape and paperwork that, you know, even Stacy and I had to deal with for the 10 months and 2 days that we fought alongside Jessie's when she was fighting cancer, you know, sometimes it just made you shake your head like, really? You know, like, you know, in this situation, to think that, and again, we do get it. We do understand the seriousness of this virus that's going around and stuff, but you know, it sometimes, you know, when you're in a hospital room and you're with your child, and sometimes just being able to look over at another person and somewhat get some silent reinforcement that everything's going to be okay. And when you don't have anything like that, and you're pretty much just by yourself, you're having to be strong for your child, but then how do you get strength? You know, and it's one of those things that I'm so sorry that you guys have had to go through this, you know, in some ways very alone. I'm glad that, you know, we have been able to be there from a little bit of a distance, encouraging you and, you know, trying to, you know, rally around you guys and stuff. But we're just so inspired by your guys' strength and your story and your willingness to, like Carolina said, you know, never ever give up. So, you know, we're going to obviously stay by your side until you tell us to go away. But
well, if I may say, going back to when he was first diagnosed, I was so ignorant to cancer, let alone now having to deal with my child fighting cancer. You can't help but feel alone.
Right.
Like nobody understands what's happening. But then your organization was the first organization to really reach out to us. And it helped meeting other parents, yourselves, other kids, and seeing that, okay, we're not alone. And there's people here that can help us with questions that I had that, you know, in my own family, not up until recently, I never had to deal with anybody having cancer or fighting cancer. So, you know, you get the diagnosis and you see what your son or your child is going through, and you feel lost. And, you know, you guys came in at a time that, I mean, we needed someone, and here you were with an entire organization reaching out. So it means a lot. It's so helpful. I can't even really say it, put into words.
Well, thanks, Ricky. I appreciate that. I know that you guys know that we're here and we try to do the best we can. And obviously we wish we could, do so much more for so many families and stuff. But like, obviously this all started with Jess when she was, leaving Chalk one day and wondering when all the other kids could come home and all that. And then she decided she wanted to stuff toys in a jar and created these things called joy jars. And I know your son has received probably more than one. But what do you think a joy jar does for a child, and what have you seen? And how do you see it helping a child during their journey?
I mean, this journey is very isolating, and the kids miss out on so much. Being at school, hanging out with their friends. For AJ, anytime he's gotten mail, it's like no matter how much of a horrible day he's had, it puts a smile on his face. And I even had the opportunity to go into the JoyFactory and fill joy jars for Jessie, in honor of Jessie's birthday. And you guys just jam pack it with so many fun things like activities and,
some of them I played with. So
yeah. So, and he has a super sib, so he's shared it with his sister Gianna. And it's been a reminder, I mean, not just for him, we tell him all the time, there's so many people out there praying for you and, cheering you on. So for him to get that dose of encouragement, and joy, and he gets to see it, and he knows that there's this amazing team behind it that's sending it to all these warriors, like you said, fighting cancer.
Yeah.
As parents, to be able to see a smile on your child's face after everything they've gone through, like, we can't thank you guys enough. And for all the volunteers and your amazing staff that makes it happen, it's incredible. Thank you.
Oh, well, it's our honor to get to do what we get to do. And, obviously I would give it all back to have my daughter back, but that's just not in the cards that I get to play. So, while I wait to see her again in heaven someday, I try to do my best to try to help families like yours not feel alone, and feel encouraged and supported. And so there's the physical side of all this, but then there's also just the mental side of strength, to fight when you get tired and alone and stuff. And how has Jessie's little motto, NEGU, never ever give up, helped maybe AJ or even helped yourselves or your family as you guys have, you've been on a roller coaster, you've been up a mountain, then you thought you were at the plateau getting ready to enjoy the sunshine. And then unfortunately a cloud comes and says, we got to go back down. And now you're climbing back out of that and hopefully to a new plateau where there's going to be sunshine for a long, long period of time. But how has that motto kind of helped you guys?
For me, so I've been an athlete since I was a kid, played football and basketball, and you're always taught, don't quit.
Yeah.
I was in the Army. I went to Iraq for a year.
Wow.
I'm a police officer now. And through all that, you're always told, don't quit, keep going. But there's something different about it being your child.
So
and
true.
When it's yourself, that's one thing. But on those hard days, I think about Jessie, your family, other families that we know, that what would I be saying if I let those hard moments get to me and then I just stop? What would I show AJ? What would I show other families, other people, my own family? I have a daughter, AJ's sister, she's 7. I can't preach to her to do her homework, clean her room, keep going in sports. She's in wrestling. If I don't exemplify that.
Yeah.
And an organization, like I said before, like NEGU, I've met other people that on my heart, those moments that I'm like, I don't want to go. I don't want to be at the hospital. I don't want AJ to go to the hospital. Or I don't want to go to work. People like Matt that I see see you guys, and I'm like, okay, you know what? You gotta do it. You gotta get back on the horse, keep riding. You gotta go. And like we tell AJ, um, he has so many supporters, a lot that he's never even met,
Right.
and a lot of it is from NEGU and people that reach out to us in social media. Um, and then what your organization also does for me is it keeps me strong in my faith, where a lot of my life I've been back and forth with. And those things right there helping me to be strong for AJ, and now also giving me strength in my faith. I can't ask for anything more. No material, no money donation, nothing is bigger than that for me.
Oh,
Our
thank you,
friends and
Ricky, for sharing.
family and even AJ's followers. I mean, he has followers all around the world.
Yeah.
They've all embraced like the NEGU motto, because I can't tell you how many times in our posts people will just post that, like the
Oh, wow.
hashtag and NEGU, and just those 4 letters
Right.
have so much meaning behind it. And so, even when we've done like the NEGU challenge, and it's amazing to see just how much support, there is out there. And we've met so many other courageous families because of you guys. I mean, I can't say there's really any other organization where we've ever gotten to meet, the people behind it, the family that created it. And you guys have always been like family. It's not just about raising money and anything else. I mean, when we were hospitalized for a month, I can't tell you how many times your staff reached out saying, we're praying for you guys, do you need anything, NEGU. And again, like Ricky said, it was another courageous mom who actually told me about you guys. And she had said, have you heard of the Jessie Foundation? And AJ had just recently been diagnosed. So again, everything's overwhelming in the beginning.
Yeah.
And hadn't really, reached out to any organizations. And she said, please look into them. She said, they're different. They're like family. I said, okay. And so again, it happened to be at the perfect moment, because we got invited to an area code baseball event.
Yeah.
AJ loves baseball. And, throughout this entire journey, we've tried to keep him as safe, isolated as, we can. So that was actually the first event we ever took him to, because we felt safe. We're like, okay, it's other cancer families. They get it. They know what we're going through, and AJ as well felt comfortable going to. And can't tell you like what joy it brought to him and to us, being able to see him out there, him being able to see other kids, going through the exact same thing.
That day he got a hit BP with the high school, those athletes.
Right.
And so AJ's never gotten a chance to play Little League, because when he really started getting into it, he was diagnosed. And that was at 9 years old. And he did jiu-jitsu before that, but he's always wanted to play baseball. But that day he got to hit with those kids, and they're encouraging him, and I think he got his first real feeling of like, oh man, this is cool, this is fun. And that's because of you guys, and we can play baseball with them in the front lawn all day long, but it's not the same as when you're in a team surrounding atmosphere with other kids, other players. It's so much different. And I'll never forget that day that he got a hit with those kids.
Oh, that was a special time, and we're so grateful that you guys have allowed us to be part of your family. As I hinted at earlier, and it was a laughing statement, but it's a very serious statement, is that we're not going anywhere. We're here to always be part of your encouragement and support team. And I hope you know that, and I hope you always can reach out to us if you have any needs, because that's what we do, and that's what we're trying 100% to commit to doing. It's funny, these last whatever, 6, 7, probably 9 months of COVID being around, and, people complaining about wearing masks and stuff. And it's just, I always kind of laugh inside, because I remember when Jessie was diagnosed, and the doctor, she started her chemo and radiation and all that. And, they were saying, you don't want to take her out along big crowds and all that kind of stuff. And so in some ways, we didn't call it quarantining. We just knew it as, okay, we have to stay home, or, and then she wore a mask because we would go outside, but then we'd tell people you can't touch her, but you can wave at her. And it's just so crazy that this whole COVID thing really isn't anything new to courageous families, because the idea of isolation, restrictions, wearing of masks, worrying about medical treatments and stuff has been going on for years.
Yeah.
Right. And long after COVID is gone, this will continue to be the norm for every childhood cancer family. I mean, this is what they live day in and day out.
Yeah. Well, on behalf of Stacy and Shay and JT's, our family's life, I just want to tell you how much we love you, and we're grateful that we get to be part of your team. You guys are always at the top of our prayer lists, and just please let us know if there's anything that we can do to continue to help you guys or AJ. I know he loves Legos, so can't wait to see what he's going to be building in the future with his Legos and stuff. But just super, super grateful that we get to be in your lives, and that help you in the small ways that we can.
You guys have been a complete blessing in our lives, and honestly, we can't thank you enough. And the way you guys, continue to carry on with Jessie's legacy is truly amazing. I mean, you've encouraged so many cancer families to really never ever give up. So thank you so much for everything you guys do.
Oh, you're so welcome, and we're honored to be able to do it. And stay safe, stay healthy, and just know that we're cheering for you guys, and we're here for you no matter what.
Thank you, Erik.
Thank you.
And give your family our best.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.